Excellent.
All right, hi guys, I'm Riley Munschauer, and here with me for our new video, she can introduce herself. She's awesome.
Hi, I'm Brielle Fratellone. I'm the executive pastry chef at Fontainebleau, Miami Beach.
Awesome. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet with us today. Start off with what are some obstacles you have had to overcome to get to your position as a chef?
One of the biggest obstacles being a chef is finding a mentor. So a mentorship is something, once you get out of culinary school, hospitality school, is somebody that's really going to set you up for success for the rest of your career. So a lot of different chefs jump around to a lot of different jobs looking for experience, but finding a mentor is very important with that. I was fortunate enough early in my career to find a few good mentors, and I also had a few not so great mentors as well. Being a female chef, it's a little bit more difficult for male chefs to take on a female mentee. So I had a lot of male chefs that didn't mentor me. I'd constantly be asking for more information, more training, and they never felt comfortable having a mentee that was a female. And those weren't great positions. And I moved on from there. Never worked there very long until I found my current position at Fontainebleau, somewhere where I'm very happy. I have a lot of creative experience here and a lot of freedoms to really invest in pastry and leadership the way I'd like to.
Awesome. That sounds cool. So what made you interested in becoming a chef, like professionally?
So I don't come from a hospitality family. None of my relatives are chefs. My grandma is not a great cook. I don't have the traditional story that a lot of chefs have of growing up in the kitchen or the restaurant. I was actually an artist first. So I loved art. In high school, I took every art class I could take. I learned pottery, painting. I actually sculpted marble sculptures with like hammer and chisel, learned how to do all of that. And when I was a teenager, I grew up in Kansas City. So I went to the local grocery store and where everybody goes to get their first job. And I went over there. The manager asked what I was interested in. I said art. And he's like, well, do you want to try out the bakery instead of, you know, the traditional cashier or bagging or something? I was like, well, that sounds very interesting. And I went into the bakery. They handed me a piping bag full of buttercream, and it felt extremely natural, and fell in love with it even more. Buttercream became my new art medium, and I fully devoted myself to it. From there, I've started to realize that, you know, this could be a career. I could use this outlet to do my art, but still have a salary paying job. So, which was, of course, very interesting to my parents because the starving artist route really wasn't something they were interested in. So from there, I went to the Culinary Institute of America, got my bachelor's degree in hospitality management, and from there worked at a variety of luxury hotels and resorts.
Wow, that's really cool. I worked at a cupcake shop when I was in high school, and I was not allowed near the piping bags because I was not very good at keeping it steady. So already I am very impressed by your piping skills.
Thank you.
All right, so what is your favorite and least favorite part about your job?
So working at Fontainebleau, I'm very blessed for the amount of space I have, the team I have, the equipment I have. So it gives me a lot of creative freedom to do chocolate sculptures. So I'm actually an ambassador for Cocoa Berry as well. So I work directly with the Cocoa Berry company to not only mentor upcoming pastry chefs, but work with them in the new product lines of chocolates coming out and taste test things and work through chocolate recipes. So that's a lot is favorite parts is teaching and coaching about chocolate.
Right there.
Right. It's one of the coolest titles I've ever held is chocolate ambassador. It sounds really awesome. So that's one of my favorite parts. My least favorite part is honestly packaging, because that comes with a lot of the retail side of things, is tying ribbons and bows and putting stickers on things and folding little boxes. Not my favorite. I've become very efficient and quick at it to get through it as quickly as possible, but it is definitely my least favorite part.
Yeah, I remember trying to fold boxes at the cupcake shop and ending up with like paper cuts all over my hands, which were super fun. All right, so what basic cooking skills do you think everybody should have?
Well, I read that question and I'm not sure that everybody needs cooking skills.
All right,
Nowadays,
I like that.
you don't have to cook. A lot of people hate cooking, hate the idea of cooking anything in general. A few people I've met really see food only as a nutritional thing. They do not actually enjoy eating, or they see it as a hassle. So if you enjoy it, do it. Otherwise, order Uber Eats and let us take care of it. We're the professionals. That's what we do. If you appreciate it, that's great. But nowadays, like you don't have to be able to cook. Maybe practice a couple things in case the hurricane comes through and you literally have to make your own food. But other than that, yeah, if that's not your thing, it's not your passion, just let the professionals make you some dinner.
I like that. Microwave meals and mac and cheese, right?
Yeah,
Those are the staples right there.
try to keep it healthy. You know, it's good to be healthy, but
There you
there's
go.
great healthy delivery options now too. So
Oh yeah, tons.
yeah.
All right. So this kind of goes along with the basic cooking skills, but if you could only have one kitchen utensil for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Wow. Yeah. Especially coming from a pastry chef too, because we
Yeah.
don't have a set of knives. I literally have a toolbox, multiple toolboxes just full of stuff. Like the pastry chef need, I don't know how many molds and piping tips. And I have 4 different size offset spatulas. And we have just
Wow.
stuff on top of stuff and stuff needed, especially with the cake decorating thing. You have to have a silicone mold for every tiny thing that comes out with. So that's kind of a hard one. Our just having a good rubber spatula to scrape the bowl or a bowl scraper are just things that I have by me all day, every day. Those things are just kind of the basic ones that they even use at home. So just being able to cleanly scrape a bowl, something about that. So
I like that. My little brother would say just his finger, because that's what he uses to scrape out the bowl whenever I make frosting or like I'm melting chocolate or something. But rubber spatula probably will do the job a little better. All right. And how has COVID impacted your work?
Oh, like everyone else. It was funny. We recently were talking with a lot of pastry chefs like a year later, and we all could name the exact date that everything kind of shut down. So mine was March 17th, the day we all found out the restaurants had to close here in Miami. And I had to either talk to in person or call all 55 of my team members and furlough them.
Oh, wow.
It was the hardest day in my career. It was a very emotional day in my career. I built this team for many years and they're my family. They're who I spend 10 hours a day with. And to tell them you can't come to work tomorrow and I don't know when you're coming back was very, very difficult. There was a lot of not being able to have closure as well, leaving a position. Some of these team members I still haven't seen a year later in person. So it's that was definitely the hardest. We're still in the rebuilding process, bringing it back, building it up from scratch. Still trying to bring team members back if we can, but it's a slow and steady process.
Yeah, that sounds really hard. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I can't really do anything about
story.
it, but I'm sorry that you had to do that.
Yeah, that's that every chef in Miami and the entire US had to do that at some point, and multiple times. We open restaurants and then we close them again here in Miami. So a lot of my team members got furloughed twice. So
yeah, has spring break affected the restaurant, your restaurant at least, opening and closing?
No, we're fully open. We're open at limited capacity still in, compliance with all COVID guidelines. So we're not fully staffed, even though we are busy, but we're busy for the amount of people we have staffed. So
Gotcha. All right. Well, what sort of leadership skills have you used in the kitchen setting that have helped you grow professionally as a chef?
So I really started working on being a leader when I worked for the Ritz-Carlton. The Ritz-Carlton mentality and leadership style that they coach their managers with is something I still use to this day. It's a leadership style of respect at every level. of treating each other like ladies and gentlemen. So we treat our guests like ladies and gentlemen, and we treat our team like ladies and gentlemen. And that's something that I really took to heart. And that's how I run my shop. I would not ask my team members to do anything I wouldn't do myself. I work alongside them all day. I can show them how to do everything. I'm not just in the office delegating out things to do. I actually, put my apron on, get in there, be involved with it, show them how to do it. We're not afraid to get our hands dirty and wash the dishes if it needs to happen, and just do whatever's necessary to get the job done. And leading by example is the biggest.
Leading by doing, leading by example, I found is a really great way to get others inspired and others actually like invested in what you're doing. Because if they just see you sitting, doing paperwork, which of course is necessary at points, but doing nothing else, they're not going to actually want to do the things that you probably need to get done.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So what advice do you have for young women, such as the Women Wednesdays group at FSU, that want to pursue leadership positions?
All right. Of course, coming up as a woman in leadership is something we definitely need to mentor. Find that mentor. If you are in a leadership position already, make sure you're finding mentees to bring up alongside you as well. Having a assistant or partner in crime that will fully support you is a big part of that as well. The biggest advice I can give you coming up forward too is ask for more money. We need to close the wage gap big time. When you are applying for a position, be prepared to negotiate. Do not take the first offer they give you. As a leader, if someone is asking and negotiating with you on the salary, that is something that is to be respected and expected. We expect you to, as a business professional, to negotiate your salary. And most of the time we can come up a little bit more from the original offer they gave you. So it is absolutely important that women are prepared to have that conversation and not afraid to have it. A lot of people coming in, they see this brand new job. They're talking to their probably future boss. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't want to make things uncomfortable. They don't want to, seem needy or fighting over a salary when you're first starting out at a job and you don't know these people very well. But that needs to be something you practice ahead of time and you're ready to talk about.
Yeah, I totally agree. That's some great advice. Thank you. Has your gender ever made it difficult to advance in your career?
If it has, I haven't let it, I guess. As a woman in the kitchen, I've definitely encountered different situations where my gender has caused me to work harder or found people difficult to work with. Now, have they said it to my face that I'm a woman and I don't want to work with you? No, of course not. But you can read between the lines a lot of the times. A lot of it has to do with negative perceptions. When you first come in, no one assumes I'm in charge. They look at my assistant who's a male and they assume he's in charge. A lot of the time, younger male cooks would not call me chef. They'd call me honey, sweetie, dear, things like that when they come in. And that's something you have to be very firm on and look at them right in the face and go, you may call me Brielle or you may call me chef. Those are your options. No negotiation.
We're not budging on the honey thing.
Not going to happen. Not going to happen in my kitchen. It's a sign of disrespect to me and in front of my team. So there's been, things through my entire career, but that's something you have to stand very firm on, be very direct with. And if you see anything, you just have to nip it in the bud immediately and go from there.
I like that.
Don't make excuses. Don't roll with it. Just say no immediately and move on.
Exactly. Stand up for yourself, kind of put your foot down, draw the line. This is, how it's going to be here. All right. And one last kind of fun question. What is your favorite pastry at your shop that you either like to make or you like to eat? Or I can tell you mine right now, and it's just the classic chocolate croissant. I don't know why it's the best comfort food ever. Probably because it's like 90% butter and chocolate.
Yeah. A great baked croissant is, you can't mess with that. It's amazing. That's always a difficult question for me to answer. I have, obviously a lot of different things I love to eat. Some things never get old. No matter how many times you eat them, you still love them. My go-to thing though is I made my own chocolate about 2 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
So with Cocoa Berry, I went over to France for a week and tried different chocolates and blended my own chocolate brand. It's copyrighted. It's only available at Fontainebleau. When we bought 500 kilos the first round, blew through that in a few months, went back, got another 1,000 kilos of chocolate. But it's called Sapphire Noir. It's a 70% dark chocolate with cacao, predominantly from Mexico, but also a percentage from Santo Domingo and Ecuador. So it's a blend of chocolate together. It's got strong yellow fruit notes in the beginning and then finishes with some like toasted nuts. Really high dark chocolate, 71%, but it's not bitter. It's very smooth, lots of fruit flavor to it. Balances really well in a lot of different desserts, but just that chocolate made into a ganache is amazing.
I love really chocolate ganache. I made a friend a birthday cake once that the like icing was just chocolate ganache poured all over it. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I don't know if this cake is going to make it to her house. It looks so good. All right. Well, thank you so much. We are planning on attaching a link to your website or to a video that we can show people, what you could do, what type of pastries you cook. So if you just want to say your website, that would be great. And then we'll have it below in the comment section. So everybody just look down below and you'll see it.
All right. So yeah, the website will be fontainebleau.com, or my Instagram is Chef Brielle Fratellone.
All right. That's so great. Thank you again so much for taking the time out of your day to do this. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you so much for being had.